Hi, and welcome to our parent engagement presentation on communication with parents. I am Lauren Rose, your Parent Involvement Coordinator. Thank you for joining me today. My goal is for each of you to finish this presentation with at least one new idea of a good method to communicate with your parents. Let's get started. Let us first look at the different kinds of barriers parents can experience when trying to communicate with teachers. Economic and time constraints, lack of technology, education lingo, a know-it-all approach, prejudging, frequent negative reports, and unwelcoming environments. To help break down the barriers, we need a right talk approach. Why is the right talk important? It's important because communication with parents is the key to bridging the gap in the home-school relationship, which can ultimately lead to higher student achievement. Studies show that students perform at a higher level when their parents are involved. Open dialogue enhances the school's culture, which will include gains in the support of parents. When parents know that there is an open and welcome channel of communication, then their support will follow. Building a positive relationship with parents from day one solidifies the foundation each student needs to succeed. Giving students a solid foundation in the beginning will only better them if or when they start to struggle. There are 5 keys to successfully communicate with parents. Be available, choose your words carefully, develop trust, assure parents that you will make contact if a concern arises, and make frequent positive contact. Let's go over them. Be available. Set aside specific times that you will be available each week to talk with parents. These times can alternate and change as your schedule allows as long as the parents are notified in advance. Make sure you advertise available times to parents by phone, text messages, email, or send a note home with your students. Then make sure you are there. Posting your office hours on your online classroom is a great place to advertise. The second one is to choose your words carefully. Do not allow a parent to pressure you into making an assessment about their child during a conference or a meeting. Instead, you can tell the parent that you would like to give their question some careful thought and provide them with an answer soon. This will give you time to consider the issue and consult with colleagues or the administrator if necessary. Make sure you give parents a specific time frame that they can expect to get an answer from you. Normally 1 to 2 days should be sufficient. Correspondence to parents by email has become more popular. However, you should be careful about what you put in writing and the tone of the email that's being sent. Oftentimes, things are misinterpreted when read through email, so it's imperative that you choose your words carefully in this regard also. A direct phone call to the parent can alleviate problems in this area. Here are a few tips to use while having a conversation with parents. You were all given this handout, and I hope you will use it in your classroom. My 3 favorites are to begin the conversation by highlighting some of the child's strengths. This will give the parent confidence and reinforce what the student is doing well. Have your reference material present. This will help the parent know that you are basing your comments on facts, not just feelings. And make it a discussion, not a lecture. Pause often and give the parent time to think and respond. Ask if they understand what you're saying and reinforce the fact that you are a team. The issue isn't only theirs. Please continue to use the rest of these tips in your classroom while you have parent-teacher conversations. The third key to successfully communicate with parents is to develop trust. Gaining the trust of parents can be challenging, however, it can be achieved. By doing what you say, you will show the parent and students you follow through and you mean what you say. Email or call back if you say you are going to. Number 4, assure parents that you will contact them. Parents fear they will find out about teacher concerns too late. You can help alleviate this fear by reassuring parents that you will contact them at the first sign their child is not grasping the content of a subject or if their child is experiencing challenges in other areas. Remember, no matter is too small when it comes to their children. Every parent views issues differently, so we want to make sure we're keeping them informed if we notice anything alarming about their child. Make frequent positive contact. Parents are elated when they receive a positive phone call from their teacher. This is especially important during the beginning of the school year, before problems arise. If parents are used to receiving positive messages, then they will less likely get defensive or respond negatively when you contact them about a concern. We are all aware as teachers you already have a full plate. However, taking this extra step will save you a lot of problems later. Now let's put some of this to practice. This next section we'll be learning about different types of communication methods. Here is another handout that you were given about good communication versus bad communication. Please use this in your classroom and review it prior to speaking with parents. Some of the examples that I like are to say that Johnny's behavior was out of character today instead of saying Johnny is the worst student in my class. Also, use the phrase we are a team instead of saying I am the teacher and this is how I operate. And lastly, I like to use this one for attendance issues to say it's been a challenge trying to keep Brenda engaged when she arrives late to class, instead of saying I can't keep Brenda focused in class because she is always late. Lastly, let's talk about some different methods of communication. We can all improve a conversation by using some of these methods. Reflective listening. Seeking to understand an idea, then offering the information back to the speaker to confirm that the message was understood correctly. An example would be just to say, sounds like you're frustrated. Paraphrasing, restating the facts in another way. An example is just to say, I hear you saying, and then restate what the person said. And empathy. A sample response of empathy is just to say, I can understand why you would be upset and or happy. Body language is a form of nonverbal communications. By making eye contact and uncrossing your arms shows that you are open for communication. Summarizing means putting the main ideas into your own words and including only the main points. If a parent says, I don't mind receiving tutoring, but I can't afford it on my own, the only way I can get it is if someone sponsored me, then a summarizing response would say, you're willing to receive tutoring if you can choose the provider and the school district will pay for it. Acceptance is when a person agrees with the situation, even if it's negative or uncomfortable, without attempting to change it, protest, or exit. A sample would be, I can ask my mom to pick you up for practice this week since your dad's car is in the shop. Open and closed questions. Open questions deliberately seek longer answers. Closed questions can be answered with a yes or no. An open question example is, what does your ideal breakfast consist of? A closed question is, did you eat breakfast this morning? And lastly, we have active listening. Active listening requires the listener to understand, interpret, and evaluate what they hear. Active listening is listening for meaning. You say very little and you let the other party know that you're engaged by comments like, uh-huh, or saying, I see, or I understand. This gives the parent a chance to talk and helps them know that you are truly listening. And that concludes my presentation on communication with parents. Thank you so much for listening to me today, and I know that we're all working together in the success of our students. Thanks so much and have a great day.